let's get to page 57. We're going to kind of do it like we've been doing it. Okay? I love that you want to read that. That's awesome. I like just chatting about it with you guys. Oh, Aiden Parker, you had to get to page 57. Okie dokie, guys. Let's start talking about it. Ooh. Someone, you want to read to me the title of the page? Our heading on page 57?
Washington Cabinet.
Yes, Washington's cabinet. Now, whenever you see the word cabinet, do you think we're going to be talking about where he keeps his cups and his saucers?
No.
No. Hey, do you think we're going to talk about where he keeps his cups and saucers?
Yes, because I'm
Okay. So when I say cabinet, I am not referring to where you keep your cup and saucers. Why is your backpack on? Why don't you take the backpack off and join us? We're here. And put that away. Whatever you got out, put it up. I'd love for you to join me in class here. Thank you. All right. So let's talk about what kind of cabinet we're talking about here. If you look, you'll see the bolded word there in the first paragraph. It says the president, stop fiddling with stuff and pay attention to where we are. The president chooses people for help and advice. Those people are called his cabinet. So what is the president's cabinet?
The people that solve with his life.
So yeah, the president chooses people to help him along and to give him advice, and that is his cabinet. So no, it's not where he keeps his cups and his saucers. It's the people that he trusts the most, and they give him advice and they help him out. So George Washington, which president was he?
The first president.
The first president. Very good. So remember, not only was he the first president, he was the only president we've ever had that was voted in completely, all 100% unanimous by the Electoral College. So, this was a definite time of change. George Washington became president, and you think he had a lot to do, guys?
Yes.
He did. He had so much to do. The president leads the executive branch of the government. Who remembers us talking about the branches of the government last chapter? Yes, he leads the executive branch of the government. This branch makes sure that the country is kind of going along according to the laws that were set into place. One person, do you think one person can run a whole country all by themselves? No, so that's why the president came up with a cabinet. These people are going to help him run the country. Now, he chose 4 men he trusted. How many did he choose?
4 men.
4 men. Let's look here. We've got some bolded words. The men did not always agree, but Washington wanted the best man even if they did not agree. Washington gave each of the men a job. One of those men was Thomas Jefferson. He became the Secretary of State. What was Thomas Jefferson? Secretary of State. Very good. What was George Washington?
The president.
The president. Very good. What are the people that he trusts called?
The cabinet.
Kai? Cabinet. Very good. He helped America and other nations get along. Now, he also had Alexander
Hamilton?
Yes. Do you like Alexander Hamilton?
Yeah, there's a theater song. There's a movie for Alexander.
I know. I love Hamilton. It's one of my favorite things on planet Earth.
What?
Alexander Hamilton became the Secretary of the Treasury. The Treasury is the money stuff, okay? So Alexander Hamilton is the one that came out with a plan for the country's finances or their financials or their money to make sure that the money was being spent right and they weren't just like, let's go to war. And they spent all their money on that. So we had Alexander Hamilton that was also trusted. He became the Secretary of the Treasury. What was Alexander Hamilton in charge of?
Secretary of the Treasury.
Very good. Now, he took care of all the nation's money. We also had someone named Henry Knox. Henry Knox became the Secretary of War. What was Henry Knox?
The Secretary of War.
Very good. He was in charge of the United States military. Edmund Randolph became the Attorney General. What was Edmund Randolph?
Attorney General.
Very good. These men formed Washington's cabinet. Honesty, do I have your attention? Thank you. He trusted them to give good help. Sometimes Washington had to choose whose advice to listen to. 2 men on his cabinet did not agree about the national government. Alexander Hamilton thought that having a strong government in charge was good and it helped people. But Thomas Jefferson said less government was better. So let's think about it like that. Alexander Hamilton said more government. Thomas Jefferson said less government. Alexander Hamilton said
More government.
Thomas Jefferson said
Less.
less government. Very good. And like I said, sometimes Washington had to decide who he wanted to listen to. Because did they always agree?
No.
No, but he knew that they were wise men and he wanted to listen to their advice. Let's look at page 58. Aiden, can you mount, please? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Look at the picture.
Oh, let's first talk about Washington and his cabinet, okay? So, we're first going to talk about Washington and his cabinet. You see the little pictures. The first one, you've got George Washington. He was the president. He set the precedents. Remember we talked about the word precedents in choosing his cabinet. We then have Thomas Jefferson. What did Thomas Jefferson do?
He was the secretary.
What was it, Chloe?
Serves the state.
Secretary of State. Very good. And then we have Alexander Hamilton. What did he do?
Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of the Treasury.
Very good. Okay.
In charge of all the nations.
Next we have Henry Knox. What did Henry Knox do? Tyler, are you with me? Wake up.
Secretary of War.
What did Henry Knox do, everybody?
Secretary of War.
Very good. He was in charge of the whole U.S. military. What about Edmund Randolph? What did he do?
Attorney General.
He was the Attorney General. He was in charge of making people obey the national laws. Very good. So if you're ever kind of curious, if we're doing a worksheet and you're not sure and you want to know about some of the men in his cabinet, page 58 is a really great resource. Oh my gosh, Rayana is killing it. Yes, she just went, because she already knows that if she needs to go back to that, she's going to go pull the information out of her book and she's going to check page 58. I see you. I see you. Let's look at page 59. Okay, Aiden, was it you that noticed the funny picture at the bottom?
No, that
Was it you? Okay. So we'll talk about that funny picture at the bottom. Yes, ma'am. Let me see. I think you're going to be okay. I don't see any blood. I think you're going to be okay. All right, so Washington, he was going to need some advice on a national bank. Anybody ever been to the bank with their parents before?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Jefferson says, no, bad idea. You shouldn't do it. He didn't want people to borrow money from a bank. Some people might not be able to pay the bank back. Also, banks were in cities, and Jefferson thought people should live on farms, not in cities. Do you think Hamilton agreed with him?
No.
Well, we already know that Hamilton and Jefferson see things very differently. So Hamilton thought a national bank was a good idea. Shh. The government could keep its money safe in the bank, and if the government or business needed money, they could borrow it from the bank. Now, Washington has his two right-hand men, and he's going, all right, I don't know. He says this, he says that. What should I do? What should I do? You should be on page 59. You should be on page, no, you're
Back.
there you go. So, Washington needed more advice. Did the Constitution allow Congress to start a national bank? That's what he had to ask himself. Jefferson said, nope. The Constitution did not clearly say so. So Jefferson believed starting a bank was not lawful. But Hamilton, what do you think Hamilton said?
Yes.
He said yes. The Constitution said the government should do anything necessary and proper to do its job. So they're seeing this in totally different ways. Put those away, please. You are fidgety today, lady. The Constitution said the government should do anything necessary and proper to do its job. Hamilton thought starting a national bank was the right thing to do. So did Jefferson want to start a national bank?
No.
Did Hamilton want to?
Yes.
Yes, so they didn't agree. And you can see that down at the bottom. There's a little political cartoon is what that's called. Where you've got no national bank, it's unconstitutional. And then you've got Hamilton saying, yes, a national bank. And then you've got George Washington in the middle going, I don't know what to do. Listen, shh, 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 shh. Thank you. All right, so in the end, Washington agreed with Hamilton. and he set up a national bank. So who did he agree with in the end?
No.
Who did he agree with, Hamilton or Jefferson?
Hamilton.
Well, let's read that first sentence again. It says, in the end, Washington agreed with Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yes, he agreed with Hamilton. They set up a national bank. But Hamilton and Jefferson kept on disagreeing. Some Americans took sides, but most Americans loved Washington as president, and they agreed with his choices. So, one more time as a review, the big thing we talked about today, what are the people who helped the president called?
Cabinet.
Excellent, Tyler. Cabinet. Very good, very good. So look on down from there. It says the national government needs a budget. Does anybody know what a budget is? Aiden?
Money.
It's kind of like money. Kai?
It's the law, like a bank.
Not quite what I'm looking for, Morgan.
It's like you have a budget. You have like a budget so where you can only, so say you only have this amount of money, and so you have to buy stuff that you can only buy with that amount of money. That's basically like
Very good. Oh, you wouldn't go, if you have $100 to go to the grocery store and buy groceries, you're not going to go spend $150 because it's not in the budget. Excellent job, Morgan. Very good. Has your mom ever taught you about budgets before? You sounded like you knew exactly what you were talking about. So a budget, all four on the floor, Chloe Honor, I will make you stand for the rest of class. A budget shows the amount of income. So like for me, every month, I know how much money I make, and I take my notebook and I write down all the different bills I'm gonna have to pay. That's gonna come out of my paychecks. I get 2 paychecks every month. And I have to go, okay, I have to pay for my rent where I live. I have to pay to keep the lights on, my light bill. I have to pay for my car. I have to pay for my insurance. I have to pay for my phone. I have to pay for my groceries. I have to pay for all sorts of fun stuff. Yes, ma'am.
You pay for every bill?
yeah.
Yes, as I'm a grown-up, and that's what you do when you're a
Do your
grown-up.
husband pay for bills?
I don't have a husband yet.
They look
And he does pay bills. What?
These people look the same.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. So with a budget, you know how much money you make and you know how much money you can spend. Like I just said, if I know that I can only spend $100 on my groceries, I don't need to go out and buy $150 worth of groceries because then I won't be able to pay another bill. So a budget shows the amount of income. That is money that comes in. The nation's income comes from taxes. So another thing that I do as a grown-up that makes money, every time I get a paycheck, the government takes out a little bit of money for taxes. And that's the nation's income. That's how the nation makes money, is off people that work and they pull from my taxes. A budget also shows the amount of expenses. So it tells how much money I'm taking in, but then also my light bill, my rent, my car payment, all of those things. So I might use money for goods and services. I might spend some money. I might like to go shopping at Target and spend some money on some goods and services. Or maybe I want to go get my hair done. Those are goods and services. That's money that's going out. Keeping a budget can help save money. Then this money can go into something called savings. How many of you are saving money in a piggy bank or something like that? Or maybe you get an allowance or somebody gives you birthday money and you go put it in a piggy bank. That's your savings, okay? And this money is not necessarily spent until you decide that there's something you might want to spend it on. Y'all do a lot of the whole talking out. Remember, I put names on the board yesterday for the chatting out at me. I didn't ask, okay? If you have something to say, you can raise your hand, and if I feel it's appropriate, then I will hear you out. Go ahead and open up your workbook to page 34. Yes, Nathan.
My workbook was in my desk, but when I saw it, it wasn't like copying the whole book got wet.
I don't know what to tell you about it. I'm sorry.
Tear it up this time.
Yes, you're going to tear it out this time because we're going to do page 34 and 35. Yes, what's up? 34. Stop talking out, please. You're going to tear out page 34. You are not going to tear out page 35, okay? Leave it in. 34 comes out, 35 stays in. Okay, so the first activity that we're gonna do today is we're gonna make a budget. All right, we just talked about a budget. We talked a lot about Alexander Hamilton, and Alexander Hamilton was the secretary of the what?
Of the Constitution.
Nope, secretary of the,
Government.
no,
Cabinet.
no. If you looked back into your book, page 58, Nathan.
Okay, what's the secretary?
Secretary of the treasury.
Stop talking now.
The treasurer, he was in charge of all of the national money.
Yes, he was. All right, we're gonna let your book dry out because I don't think you can write on that right now. Let me see if I have another workbook that I can loan you. Let's see, does she have any extras over here? So Alexander Hamilton was the secretary of the what?
Treasurer.
Who said it? Treasury? Did someone say treasury?
The treasurer, he was in charge of all of the national money.
Very good. Very good. So he was the secretary of the treasury. He was all about a budget. All right, and today we are going to work together to make a budget. I am going to go ahead and warn because I've had a lot of people just calling out and talking out. We're not doing it, okay? If you have something to say, you can raise your hand. If it has nothing to do with social studies, it's not a good time to say it. Otherwise, names are going to start going on the clipboard, okay? Y'all interrupt me way too much. All right, so look at the back of that page, please. Flip it over, Aiden. Thank you. Page 34, at the top, it says you have a budget of $10. What's our budget? $10. We need to write the amount we want to spend for each item, and you might include up to 3 additional expenses. So our first thing, we as Christians, we know that the first thing we need to do with our money is we need to give our tithe or our offering to our church. And that's usually 10%, okay? So we would ordinarily give our tithe and our offering. So we're going to say our tithe and offering in that first blank next to the dollar sign. Let me see this. So on here, you see how there's the dollar signs here? In the first blank, we're going to put $1 for that. Okay, we're going to put $1 for our tithe. Remember, this is our budget of $10. So one of our dollars we're going to give in our tithe and offering. Yes?
What do you put tithe?
You don't. I have to write that down. It's already on your page. We're only filling in the blanks. How much money do you think? We only have $10. So you have to think this through. Because you don't want to spend $8 on snacks and then only have $1 left over. How much money do you think we should spend on snacks? Remembering that we have hobbies, toys and games, and anything else that we might want to add to it. Who thinks we should spend $1 on snacks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who thinks we should spend $2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
You decide.
I have to decide. I'm gonna say $1.
Really? Yeah.
Well, we want to have money left over for savings, don't we?
I know, but
You don't want to eat all your money, so let's budget $1 for that.
yeah, but what if you need to buy more than $1?
But this is your budget, though. So this is what you're going to be spending.
Snack.
Stop talking out, 3rd grade. All right, what about your hobbies? Maybe you got a hobby and you need to spend some money on it. That's probably going to cost you a little more than your typical snacks. What do you think, Kai?
I think that it would be $1.
Y'all, who thinks we should spend a little more than $1 on our hobbies? Yeah, because you might need to go buy a ball. You might need to go buy a yo-yo. You might need to buy some colored pencils. So let's say $2 for our hobbies.
Yes.
So right now we have spent 2. So 1, 2, $4 of our $10. We have spent $4 of our $10. We have $6 left to work with. What about toys and games? We only have $6 left. If you use $3, then you only have $3 left. How much do we think we should be spending? Raise your hand if you think $1 on toys and games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How about $2? All right, we're gonna spend $1 on toys and games because we're gonna go with the majority. Do we have anything else we can think of that we want to add to our budget? Okay.
That's my pencil.
Why do you have his pencil?
It was right here and it was mine, but he took it, so I got
No,
mine back.
no, I dropped it.
Okay, you know that no, stop. You know I'm doing a video for our virtual students right now. I'm not going to sit here and have you arguing over pencils. You both have a pencil in your hand, correct? You both have something to write with, correct? So why are we having this conversation? Aiden, what else would you want to put on the budget? Remembering we've spent 2, 3, 4. We spent $5. We only have $5 left. We want to add anything to the budget? Well, we can put that under snacks. Nathan?
Baseball stuff?
Well, we can put that under toys, games, or hobbies. Aiden, back at you.
Computers?
Oh, that's gonna not be in our $10 budget. Those are too expensive. Tyler, can you think of anything else we want to add, or do we want to go straight down to savings?
Hockey.
That's snacks. Okay,
Kisses?
that's snacks.
Anything that's hurt is food or.
So we've already covered all that.
drinks,
Okay, so
snacks.
I don't think, Aiden.
TV.
Okay, no. So I don't think we need to add anything to our budget. Put your hands down. I don't think we need to add anything to our budget. Do we want to add any money up here? We still have $5. Do we want to make any of these numbers bigger? Aiden?
Toys and games.
Maybe we could do 2 for toys and games. So that's 4, 5, 6. We still have $4. We want to add $1 to the snacks?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what we're working with now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have $3 more. Do y'all want to put that in savings?
No.
Yes.
We're putting it in savings.
No.
Look, and here's why. Here's why. You always want to put something in savings whenever you're making a budget, because guess what? When you're a grown-up, maybe you're driving your car down the road and pop goes your tire. And a tire is going to cost you $100-something. So you got to go to the tire store and get that tire put on your car. Well, if I didn't put any money in savings and I just spent it all on snacks and toys, how am I supposed to fix my tire? You need to make sure you have money going into your savings account. So we have enough money to tithe, to get some snacks, to do something with our hobbies, to get a new toy or a game. Our total expenses, the next thing that down at the very bottom, you see where it says total expenses in bold? Put your finger on that. Put your finger on where it says total expenses in bold. Please put your hand down. Please put your hand down. Put your finger on where it says total expenses in bold, right where I've got my finger. In the line next to that, we need to put our total expenses, which is, remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So down next to total expenses, we need to put $7. And then underneath there, we've got savings. And we are going to put some money into savings. Put your hand on, please. Because we had $3 left over. So our total amount of money is
10.
$10. Very good. We had a budget of $10 and we used every penny of it. Please stop. Now, underneath there, you're going to answer some questions about your budget, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and turn the video off for this.